I used to feel like a lazy failure, stuck in a 9 to 5 loop, waking up and dreading the day and quietly hating the person I was becoming. But one habit changed everything. It flipped the switch from numb and lost to focused, confident, and finally proud of the person I was becoming. Now, most people overlook this habit, but this tiny habit is the reason I was able to stay consistent and start building the future I actually want. Now, once you get this too, you're going to start becoming your best self. So let me break it down for you. The habit that determines your success. I remember years ago, I'm talking back when I was in like high school, maybe towards in the middle school. I was going to one of my brother's graduation ceremony, like an event. I can't remember what the event was for, but I just know I was going there. I had to go, and there's this man speaking passionately about reading. And he was like, if you want to be successful, if you want to be rich, if you want to be this, that, and the third, read books. And I was eating that up because I was like, I want to be rich. Okay, there's something in my eye. Let me pause this video real quick because I can't take it. My bad. I don't think I got it. I think it's still in my eye. So if you see me scratching at my eye, please just know that I'm dying. But anyway, like I was saying, I was eating up what the guy was putting down. And so when we went home, my first thought was, I'm going to go home, pick up a book, and read. Because if that's the secret to getting rich, to being successful, to living the life I want, I'm going to do it. And the problem was, it didn't. I read. Nothing changed. And so I was like, the guy's a scam. Forget it. And for years, I had that belief that the guy was a scam. But then, during COVID, that same message came to me. I was on TikTok scrolling, and this girl popped up on my feed, and she was like, every person in their 20s should read this book if they want to be successful. And 3 books she had up there were Atomic Habits, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, and You Are the Placebo. And I was like, I've heard this before. This is all scams. Forget it. I don't care for it. But something within me was like, but let's just get it. Let's try it out. What's the worst thing that could happen? So I bought the books. And when I read them, everything changed for me. Especially Atomic Habits. When I read Atomic Habits, that was the key factor, like the turning point of my life that changed everything for me. I mean, there's literally a pre-faith before she read Atomic Habits, and then after reading Atomic Habits. Like, literally, that's how drastic the change was. And then it clicked in my head, like, oh, the guy was right, who I heard years ago. He was right. Like, reading is fundamental to changing a life. But he didn't tell me, like, what books to read, because I didn't know that there were different books out there that could teach me things. I wasn't, like, nothing was going to work for me. So I need that extra knowledge of, okay, yeah, read, but what to read. So for you, my message is that reading isn't all. What really matters is that you are a learner. You want to be a learner. There's actually a video I would highly recommend. I think it's about the art of improvement. I'm not going to look for it, but you can look for it. Or maybe I'll put it in the description. Anyway, it's talking about you want to focus more on growth instead of entertainment. And that video is basically repeating what I'm saying. You want to be a learner. The self-made millionaires, they read a book once a week. They read 4 books a month on average, 3 to 4. But the average person, the minute they get out of high school, they're done reading. They don't open up a book unless it's like a comic book or like a magazine, you know? And that's the biggest difference between somebody making much as they want and somebody living and struggling. I know that's not the only difference, but you know, there's so many different factors. So I don't want to sound insensitive. The world is not just black and white, and I tend to think like that. But learning, your ability to learn, if you have the ability, can separate you from the masses and put you above where you currently are. Now, the only question is, how do you learn? Because I don't want to just tell you learn and then leave you, because you might say, okay, well, then I'll learn. And instead of doing actual learning, you just start consuming more content and nothing changes for you. And now you're just consuming, but are you really learning? So how do you learn? And this is something I wish that guy had like broken down. I wish he would have said, okay, now by the way, if you're gonna read books, like you read these types of books. Don't just read like fiction books. When he said pick up a book, when I got home, I picked up Twilight. So no wonder nothing changed for me. So I don't want to leave you with just learn and then you don't know how to learn and then it's like, so how do you learn? I remember my friend was going through something really bad. Like she was going through it. And I've never seen her cry like this. Like she's a strong staple, strong woman. But she was breaking down in front of me and I was shook because I didn't know what to say. I didn't. And I felt so terrible because I wanted nothing more than to comfort her in that moment. But I couldn't. And so all I could do was just be with her. Now, once we separated and I was on my own, I was thinking like, well, dang, how can I do better next time? Like, what if she needs me again and I can't, like, I don't want to be in a situation again where she comes to me and I can't comfort her. So I literally looked online, how to comfort a friend. And I looked up for books. And a book popped up that said, it was titled, this is not going to be verbatim, but it was how to hear, comfort, and validate a friend in need. And I was like, yo, that's exactly what I need. I need that book. So I got the book and I read it. And it showed me exactly how to improve, showed me how to empathize, how to be that rock for the other person. And that's exactly what I needed. That's basically the essence of how to learn. You need to take initiative. That's it. It makes me so angry how many people don't take initiative. At my job, I work with different office managers. We all have to manage our own office. So you would think that you need to take as much initiative as possible, but most people don't. Do you know how many phone calls I get from different office managers asking me to do their thinking for them, basically? I'll get this one call, hey, I got this email. What should I respond to it? Huh? I'll open up the email and read it. Well, respond to what they're asking. Well, what do I say? Oh my goodness. You want me to type a message for you? Like, so many people do not take initiative. And that's the key to learning. You need to, whatever you want to learn, and first of all, you have to have curiosity. If you don't have curiosity, then you're not going to take initiative. But I'm guessing you do have curiosity because you clicked on this video. But whatever you want to get better at, you have to learn it. You have to take initiative and look it up. If that's learning about business, look up things about business. Read books on business. Watch long-form content on business. Don't watch like these short videos. Even though this video I'm giving you is short. But don't watch like the 7 business you should make. No. Like find a person you look up to and literally watch the long-form content. When I was learning about business, I learned basically everything I know from business, reading Russell Ranson, his books, watching Holmes' videos, and then getting my mindset right by listening to Jim Rohn, his ideas on business, Les Brown, even though he talks about business, but not as much as Jim Rohn. He's more so motivational. But I went from not knowing how to start a business at all and feeling overwhelmed and thinking I would never figure this out to taking initiative and reading as much as I could, like just reading books on business. If it had the title, if it had the category business on the book, I would read it. I would go to my local library. I was seeking out answers. I was taking initiative. I was finding role models that actual mentor, especially Tom Bilyeu. Shout out to him, Tom Bilyeu, back in the day. His podcast now is kind of mid. But like back in the day, I was listening to people who had experience. He was teaching me things. And now I've got a business started. I've worked with clients. I've made money online. And I'm more confident in business than I've ever been because I took that initiative. And so you can take initiative by looking for books. Find videos online. They're like an hour long. You don't want to watch long, like short form content, because the hour long videos, even more than that, they can go into like way more detail. Find podcasts that you're interested in. Notice I'm not saying like watch short form media. I'm not saying get on like TikTok. I'm not saying read fiction books. I'm saying literally non-fiction. Find long videos where there's no edits and people are just talking like me. I used to make them too, but I figured with the person I'm trying to reach, it might not really be the best case to make like an hour long video. But I'm going to suggest that you look for those things because it'll teach you how to focus. and improve your attention span. And that's really important when it comes to learning. Now, what happens when you become a learner? I remember I had such a negative mindset. Like, I always saw problems, I always saw challenges, and it seemed like things were just holding me back. And I couldn't understand why, but that's just all I saw. And then one day I was listening to a podcast by Mel Robbins. This is another mentor of mine, a distant mentor that I found, and like she'll make an hour-long podcast. She makes books. I was listening to her, and she talked about something I had never heard before. The reticular activating system, which is something inside your brain that determines what you focus on. And she broke it down so perfectly. I'm not going to break it down here, but once I learned about the reticular activating system and how to reprogram it, it all clicked in my head why all I saw was problems and challenges and things holding me back. It's because I had programmed my reticular activating system to see that. But by listening to the podcast, Mel taught me how to change the programming. I changed the programming, and now all I see are doors of opportunity. I see the success that I've been building and I'm still building. And I see the things that are always working my way. I always see that. I'm not seeing any problems. I'm not seeing any struggles. Like, yeah, I go through those things, but it's not like my focus. It's like, okay, I'm aware of it, but I'm not focused on it because I'm focused on the path I want to go, the opportunities in my way, and the good things coming my way. And the only reason I was able to understand, like, first of all, figure out what the problem was and then change it, is because I made it my goal to learn something new every day. To learn something new every day. And because of that, I was able to stumble upon what I needed that could change me for the better. And that's literally what happens so much. The reason why I'm so consistent right now and why I'm able to work and get things done and stay on top of my goals is because I literally stumbled upon 2 books. I found the 4 Disciplines Execution in a bookcase in my brother's room. Dusty book, and I was just like, well, let me just read it. Never knew what this was. Changed my life. I was on YouTube and I saw an audiobook pop up called Deep Work. Didn't know what it was, but I was interested. I wanted to learn something new every day, so I opened up the audiobook, and that changed my life. So literally just set the goal to learn something new every day. That's why when I go for my walk, so every morning after I'm done with working, I go for a walk, an hour walk. And on that walk, I always bring a book with me to read. Right now, I'm reading 2 books. One is about like talking, how to master conversations. And the other book is about addiction. Notice how it's like so broad topics, but I want to learn something new every day. So I'm just going to pick books I'm interested in and read. And every morning when I walk, I read. That's how I get my learning in. Some days I might read the entire hour that I'm walking. Some days it's 5 minutes. Some days it's like maybe I'll read for 25 minutes. But I'm learning something every single day. And that is what contributing to my success. And that's what helps me not waste my 20s. Because now I'm learning from people who have made it, who are successful. I'm learning the strategies for thinking. I'm learning the strategies for acting. And I'm able to put that into my life, which gives me more direction. It gives me more clarity. I have my purpose. I know what I'm aiming for in the long term. I know my short-term goals. And it all came because of this habit of learning. So if you can become a learner and set the goal to learn something new every single day, you don't have to learn big things, but if you try to improve your knowledge by 1% every day, that'll make big changes in your life. I'm going to have a mindset resources in my description, which is going to have some books you can get into, some mentors you can tap into, some videos you can watch to help you along your path of learning. But if this video was helpful to you at any way and you really need help getting your life together, don't worry, I'm going to start a kit just for you that goes into more details and give you literally the pathway to getting life together and staying on that path for the long term. But anyway, hopefully this video helps, and I'll see you for the next one.